What is good, y'all? My name is Jason, and you're watching Scent, Shoots, and Shoes. So, welcome to the very first episode of my brand new series that I have titled What's Good, where we discuss what's going on in the fragrance, gaming, and sneaker communities. And basically, I'm asking, what's good? So on today's episode, Mont Blanc flankers are apparently just falling out of the sky. Elden Ring, we finally got some gameplay footage and some network tests. Let's talk about that. And Travis Scott, he is on the ropes with cancel culture. All of that and more on today's episode of What's Good. So stick around after the intro. You already know what it is. It's Scent, Shoots, and Shoes. So first things first, we are going to be discussing the tragedy that happened on November 5th in Houston, Texas at Travis Scott's Astroworld Music Festival. And before we go any further, I personally would like to send my prayers and condolences to the families that lost loved ones during that tragic event. Look, I don't want to downplay that senseless loss of life at all during my discussions. So before we dive into that topic, I definitely want to take a moment to pay our respects.
What's that smell? Ew.
So what's good with Mont Blanc? Apparently not their marketing strategy. So Mont Blanc, actually known as a design house for their stationery, their leather goods, and their watches, have actually recently released some flankers from some of their fragrances. Now, actually Mont Blanc is known as a pretty decent fragrance house. They do have some good ones like Explorer, which is an Aventus clone. They do have Starwalker, which we're going to talk about, as well as Individual, which we're going to talk about. But some of their main ones that they're known for is, like I said, Explorer, Legend Spirit, all good fragrances. But yeah, we're going to talk about what the heck is going on with these Starwalker and Individual fragrances, or excuse me, their flankers. So Starwalker was released in 2005 and Individual was released in 2003. So both of these have been out for over 10 years plus, and neither one of them have had any flankers released since they were originally released back in those years, that I just mentioned. But as of recently, these flankers for Starwalker and Individual have just been popping up randomly at, check this out, of all places, rack stores. Talking about TJ Maxx, Ross, Nordstrom Rack, those type of places. Not your big box retailers, not Macy's, not Belk, not Neiman Marcus. We're talking about the rack stores. These flankers have been popping up at the rack stores. Now, you may be saying, okay, so what's wrong with that? Nobody knew about them. Nobody. These things literally have just popped up. Zero campaign, zero article, zero news. Heck, right now, if you go on Google and Google Starwalker Extreme, which is the flanker that popped up, you're gonna get more entries about their pins, a pin named Starwalker Extreme, than you are gonna get about this flanker. That's how unknown it is. So this is where it gets weirder. So first off, I'm gonna throw out a disclaimer. I have not smelled either fragrance of the flankers, Starwalker Extreme and Individual Tonic as the flankers that we're discussing today. So I have not smelled either. I've only seen reviews and seen basically what other people have said about them. But pretty much from what I can hear and what I've seen, everybody's saying the same thing, and that is they don't smell anything like the original fragrances. Weird. Yes, again, weirder. It just keeps getting weirder as we go. So, Starwalker, I have that fragrance. Great fragrance. It's known for its bamboo note. It's got its bamboo, citrusy, relaxing scent. Really fresh, really clean. Great scent. The Starwalker Extreme, warm, spicy, powdery, definitely none of that. Individual Tonic, well, the original Mont Blanc Individual, which I also own, fruity, sweet, clean scent, nice scent as well. Individual Tonic is apparently it's a greenish ambroxany, fresher take on it. It's just not Individual. So again, weird all the way down. So where's our weirdness tally at this point? Let's see. First off, neither Individual nor Star Walker have had any flankers. I mean, that's obviously not their fault, but for 16 to 18 years now, these pop up. You can't find them really in any, again, the big retailers, only popping up at rack stores and a few online retailers. They don't smell like the originals, so they could have just been any fragrance pretty much that Mont Blanc wanted to release, but they decided to release them as flankers to these other ones. And the biggest one, zero news, zero marketing campaign, nothing from the design house itself. Zero, zilch, nada, niet. Like, seriously. There is the only thing that you'll find if you look this stuff up on Google. There have been some YouTube reviewers that have got their nose on them, and that's the only reason I found out about them. You'll see those videos, but outside of that, not much at all. Which kind of leads me to ask, what is Mont Blanc's strategy, if any, with these seemingly out of nowhere releases? Like, what were you guys trying to accomplish? Who knows? Who the hell knows? Apparently Mont Blanc is just out here with the shits, and you know what? Hats off to you, Mont Blanc, for just doing what you want to do. Keeping it interesting, I guess. So, what's good with Elden Ring? Well, apparently my lofty expectations that have all but crashed and burned at this point. So, Elden Ring released some gameplay trailer where there was some commentary over it talking about some of the new gameplay mechanics, some of the NPCs that you're going to interact with, some of the bosses. Good video, I really liked the video. But after seeing that, and let me just be 100% honest here, one of the reasons why I wanted to start my channel is to give my authentic, honest opinion on, gaming, fragrances, what have you. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I saw that gameplay trailer and I was like, this is Dark Souls 4. Maybe not even 4. Dark Souls 3.5. Like, I just wasn't impressed. Reused animations, reused sounds. The bonfires, they're called these grace points or something like that. It's like the same thing, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad at more Dark Souls. There's nothing wrong with more Dark Souls, but this is a whole new IP we're talking about here, Take Bloodborne, for instance. You knew you were playing a From Software game, right? When you play Bloodborne. Totally different gameplay, though. The trick weapons, pairing with the guns, the Lovecraftian, atmosphere, the ethos, the lore. It's totally it was a totally different game, but you still know it was a From Software game. They kept enough of that so you can say, okay, that's From Software. Same thing with Sekiro, totally different IP. Different gameplay. You have the pairing again, you have the stealth mechanics, more verticality with the environment, you have the prosthetic arm, how you can interchange that and have, change up your own gameplay. A totally different take on a story, more of like a straightforward story if you know Dark Souls and Dark Souls lore, how it kind of tells itself through items and different things like that. But yeah, I was not impressed. Now, I will say, graphically, if the game does look great. It looks very smooth, even though the animations were reused. The horse traversal looks great. The horse combat looks great. There's just enough there if you can know that it is a current gen game. But, there's always a but. I don't feel like the graphical jump from Dark Souls 3 to what I've seen in the gameplay trailer for Elden Ring, it's just not the same level. If you go from like Dark Souls 3 to from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3, we don't talk about Dark Souls 2. That's a whole nother story. But so a lot of YouTubers have been putting out videos of the gameplay from the network test. Now this is where I've been starting to come around to this game. Seeing those network tests, I'm turning the corner on Elden Ring at this point. First, I was just like, oh my god, it's the same thing, blah, blah, blah. Seeing the gameplay from the network test, I'm actually starting to turn around and getting a little bit more warmed up to it and getting a little bit more excited to basically where I was before the gameplay trailer from Bandai Namco. They've been showcasing a lot of weapon skills, a lot of the sorcery. Sorcery in this game looks phenomenal. I've never played a sorcerer class. This is definitely going to be like the first game where I definitely will be playing a sorcerer class. But yeah, the weapon skills, they look awesome. What they call them are Ashes of War. Basically, if you remember Dark Souls 3, they had the weapon skills. They were assigned to a specific weapon, right? But now they have these things called Ashes of War, where you can basically put this weapon skill on almost any weapon. Now, there are certain limitations, like maybe something that says, oh, it has to be a thrust weapon or it has to be a slash weapon or something like that. But it's just not stuck to this one specific weapon like it was in Dark Souls 3. So that looks really good. The horse traversal looks amazing. The horse can double jump, which is awesome, which is going to open up the world to a lot of different options, a lot of verticality again, to being able to kind of just explore the world more. And what really, really stuck out to me is how densely packed this open world is. That's one thing, if you've played open world games before, you can have a huge open world, just huge. But it may be forever until you encounter a boss or another enemy, another NPC. It just seems like at every turn, no matter where you go, seeing these network test videos, there was always something. That I'm really, really, really digging. So it's just like you're not just going to be going around horseback forever until you actually get to something. There are so many dungeons, so many catacombs, so many bosses just out in the open area, so many enemies to fight, so many groups of enemies just out there, just all kinds of stuff. The bosses look ridiculous. So I have again started to turn the corner. Again, seeing the other stuff, it bummed me out. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but seeing these videos from the network tests, I'm back on the bandwagon. So Elden Ring dropping February 25th, 2022. I can't wait. And just real quick, a disclaimer. All the bull that I just talked about before when I first started this segment, don't for a second think that I wasn't going to get the game. It could have looked terrible, super terrible. I was still going to get it because that's who I am. I'm a dedicated Souls fan. I was going to get that game regardless, so don't let that think that I was just like, oh no, it's so terrible, I'm not going to get it. Absolutely not. That was still going to get got regardless. Opening day, I'll be there. If there's a line, I'm going to be in the line. That's just what it is. So, what's good with Travis Scott? Well, definitely not his event security, and possibly not even his future as a hip-hop megastar and multiple-time Nike collaborator. So if you haven't heard as of yet, on November 5th, 2021, a very, very tragic event happened at Travis Scott's annual Astroworld Music Festival in Houston, Texas. According to reports, during Travis's headlining set, of the over 50,000 attendees at the festival, there was a sudden crowd surge that resulted in people getting stomped, trampled, crushed, and God knows what else, that resulted in the deaths of 9 people and 1 child. Not to mention the 25 people that were hospitalized and hundreds of accounts of actual medical issues that were had by people at the festival itself. Just tragic loss of lives. For what though? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to get to. Let me get on my soapbox for a minute here. Celebrity worship is a disease. People are famous, yes, we get it. We look up to certain people, we idolize them, but we're getting to a point to where we're worshiping these celebrities. At what point do you forego wanting to care about another human life to where you have to get close to this celebrity, not caring about anything else, nothing in your environment, no people around you, and you're stomping, trampling, killing other people just so you can get in the presence of this celebrity. It's a sickness, it's a disease. Celebrity worship needs to stop, really. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I kind of had to go off on a rant there for a second, but I'm gonna go ahead and get off my soapbox now because I can go on and on about that. So the questions that are being asked now is A, was Senor Sicko Mode aware of what was going on in the chaos during his set? B, if he was aware, would he have been able to stop it? And C, if he wasn't able to stop it, then who should be held accountable for these lives? Should they be canceled? Should he be canceled? So I'm obviously not Mr. Antidote himself, so I can't answer some of those questions as far as what he was seeing on stage, his perceptiveness, his awareness of the events going on. I can't answer those. I'm not him. So some of those questions are dead. None of us should be answering those for him. That's something that he's going to have to answer to. But the question again that we have that kind of really needs to be answered is who should be held accountable for the loss of those lives, and if he should be canceled. First off, cancel culture, I'm not with it. It's a totally silly ideal that just creates more and more trauma within people. So cancel culture is stupid. You heard it here first. So cancel culture, if he should be canceled, whatever. I don't care about that. Now, accountability. That's a totally different topic, and that's something that I think does need to be discussed. And if we're talking about accountability, he can't just, if he knew what was going on, he didn't stop his set, he's not the only one to blame. Let's talk about security. Let's talk about the production staff. Let's talk about the event organizers, He shouldn't have, if there's an accountability take that we're going to talk about here and discuss, the whole group needs to be kind of lumped in together and see what's going on. Now, granted, he has already decided to refund the concert goers' money. He's starting to pay for the burial fees of the deceased. Drops in the bucket if you ask me. Again, I like Travis Scott, but come on, you're a multi-millionaire, dude. There's gotta be more that you can do. So why are we discussing this on a channel or the portion of my channel where we're talking about sneakers? Well, if you like sneakers, then you already know Travis Scott, as I mentioned earlier, is a multi-time Nike collaborator. Travis Scott shoes sell out in seconds, literally seconds. Some of the highest resale values on the sneaker resale market. Has Nike said anything yet? They actually recently came out. They have been staying silent, them and Dior, some of the bigger ones. There's actually been a couple of companies that have actually started kind of distancing themselves from Travis Scott. McDonald's, but they're actually saying that the McDonald's partnership was already over in October. I'm not sure what the actual logistics of that is, but Fortnite actually kind of just has distanced themselves from him. They took away his, apparently he had like an emote or something on Fortnite that they took down that you're not able to use anymore. But Dior, they haven't really said anything. Some of the bigger collaborators that he has, they haven't really said anything. But Nike actually, so the Travis Scott Cactus Jack Air Max 1s were set to come out in December. They actually came out recently because they have been pretty silent. They hadn't said anything about what was going on. But they actually came out recently and said that they're going to actually postpone the release of those shoes, coinciding with, I guess this is their way to say that they're going to be paying respects to those that lost their lives. And speaking of Cactus Jack merchandise, Travis Scott's imprint, I want you to watch this video that I'm gonna put up about basically this is what it looked like when they opened the gates to the show. I think as they said it was around like 5 p.m. Look at this video. Look at this chaotic madness from these people. They're actually rushing to the merch table. That's how serious people are about Travis Scott's Cactus Jack merchandise. They are rushing, turning over barriers, hopping barriers, pushing people out of the way, just rushing up there, just immediate insanity from the jump, getting to the merch table. This shit is wild, man. So my prediction is if Nike actually cuts ties with Travis Scott 100%, that is not going to do anything but make that Cactus Jack resale market go through the freaking roof, people. I'm saying if you have any Travis Scott Cactus Jack Nike collab shoes right now, you're probably going to want to hold on to them, because like I said, if Nike actually, decides to, cut their partnership with them, those things are going to be worth so much money, because they're the only ones. They're not going to be any more in the future, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Or you can be one of those idiots that try to make a half-ass statement and start burning their stuff. Basically like, oh yeah, let me get this lighter fluid and burn my Cactus Jack Jordan 1s. Because why? You already paid money for it. You're not doing anything but hurting yourself at that point. If you really want to make a statement, give your gear, your shoes, your clothing, whatever, give it to somebody that's less fortunate than you. That's making a statement. You looking like a moron and burning your stuff, which some people do, which it's stupid. Let's just be honest, it's dumb. You've already paid money for it. You've already supported the brand. You're only hurting yourself. Give it to someone less fortunate than you. That'll actually make an actual positive statement. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, who knows what's in the future for Travis Scott? So, Nike, they postponed it. Again, some of the bigger companies, some of the companies have already cut ties with them. Some of the other ones are still remaining silent. I mean, who would have thought that a company would have decided not to say anything about a huge tragedy to see if there's still gold in them their heels? Maybe to try to save a buck or two until things kind of die down. Unimaginable, right? Never heard of a company or a corporation trying to save a buck. Who'd have thought? So that'll do it for today's What's Good episode. The very first one. Pretty bummer of a week to start, don't you think? Yeah. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to your respective social media platforms. Hit that bell so you know when new videos are going to drop, because they're going to drop, because I'm still doing this, because I am back. If you saw my last video, I'm going to just keep coming with these videos. I love this. I love you guys. And as always, if you know me, you know I'm going to leave you with these words. If you're like me, you may love a lot of things, but none of them matters unless you truly love yourself. And as always, smell great, have fun, and stay fly. Peace out.